What up? What up? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Rich. Real Talk Rich. Real Talk with Rich is back. My words are jumping already. Real Talk with Rich is back. What's going on, everybody? Good to see y'all. I'm glad you guys are all here. Want to shout out to Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam. Yeah, and everybody across the world. We in the building. What's going on, y'all? So tonight, doing a show. This is probably going to be a brief edition of Real Talk with Rich because, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a short week for us because next week we'll be in Norfolk, Virginia. So that I'm just letting you know right off the bat, there will not be a show, at least a Real Talk with Rich show at our normally scheduled broadcast. I will be flying my way back home from that event. And so hopefully everything will go well with that. But we will be doing some live streaming from the con, and so we're going to get into shenanigans with that later on. But I'm glad you guys are here. What's going on, King Sigma, Robin Monroe Jr., and of course Brooklyn's always in the building. What's going on, y'all? Y'all tell a friend, tell a hater. We live tonight. Before we get into the shenanigans tonight, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're feeling generous, give a super chat. We are grateful for what you contribute and supporting our channel. We thank you so much. Yeah. My man said, shout out to the Epiphany Engine for free rewards. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And look, I can't say, but it's gonna be some other stuff coming too, y'all. I just enjoy the fact that this project has got a lot of people excited, and yeah, it's going down. So yeah, man. So shout out to all the good people, Tony Cottrell and his whole squad over the Epiphany Engine. Arthur English, what's good with you? What's going on? What is that? AIJ? ALJ 297702. Greetings. So yeah, we gotta talk about some stuff tonight. We're gonna be more chat, talk intensive later on. You know what I'm saying? There's not gonna be no deep topics or whatever. We're gonna keep it real light on tonight. But we got a lot of dope stuff heading your way. Raven, what's happening? Fantastic to see and hear from you, bro. Yes, indeed. It's good to be seen. Yes, sir. Good to be seen. Hope you guys had a great weekend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Hope everything was good, no drama. You know, hope you didn't have to put out any fires. Hope everything was amazing, from whether you was eating popcorn, watching a movie, doing yard work, whatever it is. I hope you were blessed in it all. So yeah. So anyway, guys, let's just get into the shenanigans tonight. We're going to go ahead and hit you with a low-hanging fruit. That's a segment of our show where we talk about the news. And there's no news tonight, really. However, I did want to bring to you guys' attention of a dope graphic novel that is coming out. Bleeding Cool lets us know about this. There's Lord of the Flies, the graphic novel by William Golding and Amy DeJohn, who's the illustrator, and William Golding is the writer of this adaptation of the graphic novel. Lord of the Flies is one of the dopest. If you haven't seen the movie, if you have not, let me put it like this. If you have not seen Lord of the Flies, what have you been doing with your life? You should go, and after this show is over, you should go find the movie Lord of the Flies and watch it. It is an amazing story. It's about a plane crash full of kids, school kids, all boys. They crash land on an island, and they learn how to navigate life on the island, being with no adults, no supervision, just left to their own devices, and everything that kind of goes with that. And it is a very shocking, and I will be honest, very scary movie. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those dope stories. The movie adaptation, I think Stephen King talked about it, was one of his most terrifying and most gripping stories he had ever read or heard about or whatever. But I know when the movie came out, it was definitely something serious. And it really speaks to the primal energy in boys and in men that grow up in men. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where, you know what I'm saying, it's like you wonder what happens when your primal instincts kick in, because as we grow up, we develop our moral compass, we develop our um, desire to quote unquote do the right thing. But what happens when there is quote unquote no law? What happens when there's no uh, accountability, so to speak? And they try to create a level of accountability, but that is very, very, I would say, visceral in practice. But if you've never seen that movie, Lord of the Flies, it's an old movie. Go find it, go watch it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Very, very good movie. But there's a graphic novel coming out, and I cannot wait for this to come out. So for those of you that have seen Lord of the Flies, you already know it's something probably you're going to want to have in your collection as a comic head. And this book is going to come out September the 12th, 2024. So pre-order. He says, will it can be something I watch with my two 20-year-old sons? Oh, absolutely. Because it's really about school kids. These kids are like, I would say 8, 9, 10 years old. It's a movie, you know what I'm saying, or it's a story. It's an old story. The story's like 75 years old. But it's an old story where, again, you know, these kids crash land. They're the only survivors. The adults that were with them die. And so they're trying to figure out life. It's pretty sick, I'll just say. Mawan says The Rock. They call it the conch. That's how they kind of, yeah. Mawan says that movie was crazy. And the book. Yeah, for real. Go check that. I'm telling you, go check that out. So yeah, that's what's coming up. So y'all go pre-order that, you know what I'm saying? Talk to your comic shop about it, see if they can get it. So yeah. So with that said, guys, we're gonna that's all the news I have tonight. So we're gonna talk about the Olympics. Paris 2024. Now I want y'all to look at that image on the screen real quick. Derek, this is one of those things where, am I on something or am I on to something? Okay, now that image, it looks like it's supposed to be a flame, but I see a woman. I see a woman. It's supposed to be a flame, but I see a woman. So this is not the MCU, but maybe the Olympians are, you know, they're sending a subliminal message. Now there was some shenanigans from the opening ceremony, which some said was a very disrespectful portrayal of the Last Supper. When it really, we come to find out, of course, that was not the case. It was actually a recreation of a feast of Dionysus, who is the god of wine and that kind of thing. It just happens to mirror or look like that. So many a Christian were in their feelings and this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad nobody asked me about it because they probably wouldn't have liked my answer. But suffice to say that that's how the Olympics began. Okay. And of course, you know what I'm saying, it went on into today is the 11th. And so today was the last day of the events. And so, yeah, King Sigma says a trans woman, man, smiling. Tragic. You know what? He said it, not me. So anyway, so shenanigans did go on with that. That was a part of the chaos as well. So we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna talk about that. We just gonna talk about some highlights, okay? One of the highlights that we want to talk about, of course, is the gymnastics competition was amazing. The women's gymnastics, Simone Biles, she did her thing. The ladies overall won gold, but there would not be life without some shenanigans to go on. And that unfortunately falls on the shoulders of Jordan Childs, who originally was awarded a bronze medal. And they are going to take the medal from her. based on a technicality. I'm not here to bark and whine and yell about the injustice and whatever. It's unfortunate. Probably shouldn't have happened. According to USA Gymnastics, they did what they were supposed to do within a timely fashion to contest the points or whatever. Didn't work out. Here's the fallout from this. The fallout has been that this young lady has been attacked. The mayonnaise is something else. When they don't like something or they don't like someone, they let them hear it. And so from what I understand, this young lady has suspended, walked away from social media, being threatened, bullied, that kind of thing, being called a nigger, a porch monkey, all kind of foolishness. It's unfortunate. In the middle of all of this, you know what I'm saying? These young ladies, they work their tail offs for moments like this. And then to have something like this happen, it's unfortunate. And from what we understand and what we know, Jordan Childs is a very, very beautiful, wonderful person internally. She's beautiful on the outside, but she's very beautiful internally as well. And for this to happen is unfortunate. Will she land on her feet? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? She's resilient. She's strong. Just like Simone, you know what I'm saying? Simone bounced back from what happened in Tokyo. You know what I'm saying? She was working out some things that you know, she said she had something called quote unquote twisties, which things weren't lining up. And the thing about a gymnast is that you have to be able to trust that your body's going to do what you're asking it to perform. And so when you can't trust it like that, that's literally horrifying. You know what I'm saying? So for her to bounce back and do what she's done in this Olympic Games, salute to her as well. But yeah, salute to Jordan Childs too. You know, you will be all right. Kay says, I'm conflicted about the Olympics because them folks only care about us when we entertainers, and even there we get disrespected. Yeah, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the deal. And the thing about prejudice, racism, or whatever you want, it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. And if you got an ear, you have a racial ear, you pick up on some of this stuff, some of these microaggressions and some of this craziness that's been said or whatever. And the world it's a big world, y'all. It's a big world. And the world at large, they ain't got no love for no black people, whether they from Sudan or whether they from Compton. It is what it is. So yeah. So that went on. And then of course, LeBron James, Steph Curry, KD, when he wasn't tweeting and talking bad about Kevin Durant. Shout out to Kevin Durant for being the pettiest NBA superstar in America. I love that dude. Shout out to UT. But yeah, they went over there, they won the gold, but it was not an easy task. France gave them a run for their money. And Steph had been struggling. And he finally shows up. He finally, the shell finally gets off, and they won the game or whatever, the final, the gold medal game. So, but France is right there. And what was weird is years ago when the original Dream Team were doing their thing, they had, they ran through everybody, wasn't a problem or whatever, but the world internationally caught up with them. And so it's very, very interesting that international basketball play is very, very competitive. You have a lot of people that's in the NBA that are not from America right now. Matter of fact, there's a couple of them right there on screen, particularly Embiid is who I'm looking at. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to them for winning the gold medal. But the gangster of the whole event, shout out to the USA track and field. And shout out to Dallas, Texas own Sha'Carri Richardson. This is from the the relay that they won the gold. She was the anchor on that. And I love this this picture here because she's literally in the air. And she looks over at the competition like, I know y'all really think y'all ain't gonna win this, right? Shout out to her because, man, this sister here has had a journey. You know, she kind of hit rock bottom, and you know what I'm saying, she had to regroup, and she did. And that's the thing about redemption or whatever. America, everybody loves a redemption story. But this is a lady who had suffered losses, you know, personal family losses, and was dealing with life. And you know what I'm saying? And being a young person, I think sometimes we forget that these are young people, that these are babies. These are not seasoned adults or whatever. A lot of times these are kids. And we so hard on these kids. We don't see them as just kids. At the end of the day, just because the person is 6'10" and can dunk a basketball does not mean that they have a mentality or have a grown folk, you know, mindset. You know, that they're still kids. And so I'm glad that she was able to bounce back. And yes, she definitely went ham. Definitely went ham. But Damon Watson said, I know they mad at us getting these laughs on Australia. Oh, we finna get to that. We finna get to that, Damon. Y'all stay tuned. So yeah, so shout out to them for doing their thing. Shout out to the U.S. men's 4x100 relay team. Listen, now as far as I know, and I'm not no expert, but track and field relay teams have been in existence since forever. And all of those dudes, other than the young kid that's like 16 years old, that's in high school, all the rest of you guys are in college, you know what I'm saying? You ought to know by the time you get to the World Games or whether you get to the Olympics or even when you get to the state finals of the team or the track team that you run for, the school that you run for, you ought to know how to pass a baton. Now, the USA team, for whatever reason, you guys has got to stop showing up thinking that y'all just going to show up and win. Okay? I mean, all of you guys are fantastic athletes, very fast, but you got to know how to pass the baton. You got to know how to pass the baton. Please, the transition. That's the most important part of that relay. And, you know, we saw that with Sha'Carri and Gabby Thomas and the rest of those girls who were able to win that convincingly. They were behind a little bit. And Sha'Carri just put on the jets, was able to, there was there's a small margin of error between the athletes themselves. Don't get it twisted. You might see some of these people from these different countries and they're not, you know, they might be in 5th or 6th place. Don't get it twisted. They're the fastest from where they're from. These are the best of the best of the best. So just to be able to get there is accomplishment, and they should be respected for that. But bro, y'all need to do better. Matter of fact, instead of waving at folk doing the event, doing the opening ceremony, y'all need to be somewhere figuring out how to catch the baton from the last runner. That's what y'all need to be doing. Y'all was kikiing and got your nice polo jackets on, and Ralph Lauren, shout out to them for just dapping y'all up. Y'all need to get a Ralph Lauren baton and learn how to pass it. Okay? Yeah. So Mawan says, my mother used to run track back in the day. She was ripping the relay, men's relay, or doing for that sloppy handoff. Yeah, man, y'all gotta do better. They would win if they could master that. That's the problem. But historically, the U.S. men's track team has not been that good. And handing off the relays or whatever has been their biggest problem. So I don't know what to tell y'all. Just do better. So I'm gonna tell you like what black women tell y'all black men sometimes. Do better. Anyway, speaking of do better, let's talk about breakdancing. Hip hop, 50 years in the books, right? Celebrating 50 years. Hip hop finally makes it to the biggest stage. I want you guys to check out this picture here. This is a picture of Run DMC in Tokyo with some Japanese b-boys. Okay? Now, this is the power of hip hop. This is what hip hop has been able to accomplish early on. This is what the amazing genre or the amazing culture of hip hop has been able to do, influence the world. To take an art form from the South Bronx and bring it all the way to thousands of miles away to Japan. It's pretty amazing. But as the Notorious B.I.G. once said, you never thought hip hop would take it this far. Ladies and gentlemen, what is too far? Well, all you have to do is look at the breakdancing event from this year's Paris 2024 Olympics. We saw something called breakdancing. Now, I need you to understand something. And all of my people that know about breakdancing can attest to this. All of us, I'm talking about black kids in Texas, black kids in Ohio, black kids on the West Coast, black kids up in Alaska, black kids everywhere had cardboard somewhere in their neighborhood spinning on their back. Okay? Everybody I know either breakdanced or pop locked. That's what we did. But we didn't do that. That looks like a frozen still from the Thriller Michael Jackson music video. I don't know what that was. I just know what they said it was. And I learned a long time ago, you can call it what you want, long as I can call it what it is. And that was some shenanigans. Okay? That's, bruh. The internet was on fire. And all I can say is, shout out to B-boys worldwide doing their thing. But man, that kind of hurt to see. That really kind of hurt to see. And you know, we talk about in this space, we talk about gatekeeping, right? And how bad gatekeeping is. Somebody, who the hell let the gate open? Who in the hell left the gate open? That's what I want to know. I want to know. I want to know who let the gate open. Because this has now passed for breakdancing. I'm like, bruh, this is what we doing. This is what we doing. And here's the thing about it. We don't really, the black community is funny. Because the black community doesn't want to be like, you know, we really want everybody to rock with us. We really do. We have this thing about, and we're not looking for affirmation from the world of them, but it's like we don't have a problem inviting people to the party. We really don't. Our problem stems from when we invite people to the party and they overstay their welcome. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. Let's say we would all like to know. I'm just saying, we just kind of looked at, and see, this the thing is, we don't have a camera for every black home. I wish there was a way that we could get the footage of everybody watching the breakdancing Olympics. Because you know that everybody, especially black people, were watching that, were like, What the? I know the original NY City, New York City Breakers, Rock Steady crew. Shout out to y'all. Y'all had to be somewhat disappointed. I'm just saying, you know, from the chick that had the do-rag, there was a chick with a do-rag on. It was, oh, Lord have mercy. Too much. I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm gonna just need the um the next 2028 Olympics. I think they're gonna be stateside. But I'm gonna need y'all to do a little bit better because Uncle Snoop, for all of his, street cred and social currency, that did not help what we saw. I'm just like, wow. They said they allowed this tomfoolery but disqualified the black man from martial arts for kicking his opponent too hard. Oh well, it is what it is. So, but shout out to the contestants. And see, the thing is that on this level, I'm gonna say it like this: the reason why this did not quote unquote work, in my opinion, is because breaking is a competition. And breaking is not a competition without battling. There was no elements of a battle in this whatsoever. And the music that they were playing, I'm like, bruh, did they just mix a horse with no name and a break? Where was Africa Bambaataa? Where was the Soul Sonic Force? Where was Nucleus? Jam on it. Where was Searching for the Perfect Beat? Y'all didn't got the records. I just was like, bruh, this is trash. And yo, I'm not the biggest hip hop head in the world, which is why I'm roasting this, because I know that the real heads are really disturbed. They gotta be. That was, and look, some will say, well, it's the Olympics. It's the first time. It's a good look for hip hop. That wasn't a good look. We have to start dictating certain things when it comes to things that are ours. You know what I'm saying? We got to start dictating certain things when it comes to ours. We have got to say, listen, gatekeeping is okay, but when it looks like old girl from Australia, she was like, man, what is that? But yo, it's, I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of hard to watch. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the Paris 2024 Olympics. I mean, the shenanigans were, oh my God, it's just. And look at that picture there. That picture tells you all you need to know. I don't see no black flags in that picture at all. Talk about whitewashed in probably the most European city that you can get, I guess. But everybody and their mama try to flock to Paris for some reason. Scott Caesar say hip hop hasn't been ours since the artists started getting their suburban money. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I think so. I'm listening to you live and watch this matter right now, YouTube replay. Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. They got to do better. That's all I'm saying. So shout out to everybody who, all the contestants. I really thoroughly enjoyed the Olympics. The games that I did see, the track and field that I did see, the sports, I definitely enjoyed them, you know what I'm saying? And we having fun with all of this, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because competition is still a good thing in our culture, in our community. But we're gonna get these jokes off when y'all do something crazy like y'all did. So yeah. The head dude's trying to break all fast to Method Man Judgment Day. Oh man. Anyway, yeah. I don't know who the DJs was. They probably ain't gonna tell them because you probably don't want nobody to know that you really spent that trash. But yo, it is what it is. So anyway, moving right along. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Moving right along. So there was an event that happened this past week, D23. And shout out to my producer, Derek, because when we were talking about what we were going to do for the show, he was like, well, you know, we're going to talk about D23. I was like, and the trailers that came out, I'm like, I saw some stuff, and I did. I saw some stuff about Wakanda and Iron Fist showing up in Wakanda, and I could care less about Iron Fist showing up in Wakanda. Now, had they said Luke Cage, I might have paid attention. But as far as the melanin is concerned, the biggest news we got was that we finally got an Ironheart trailer. Now, it was good to see the trailer. I thought the trailer was okay. Funny thing is, the trailer has leaked, so you really can't find the trailer itself from Disney. So I'm literally watching clips of the trailer. Basically, people taking a picture or basically recorded the trailer from D23. But as far as the official Ironheart trailer, it's not online of yet. But everybody and their mom has already seen it, which is weird. Why I don't know why they won't go ahead and release it. So we got some elements of what's going on. It's from what we can gather from the trailer. You know, Riri got kicked out of school, so she's trying to figure out how to finance her armor, and so she's got to kind of make a deal with the quote unquote devil, who is in the person of the Hood, and so it's going to be, you know, kind of surrounding that. I know that there are probably elements that we have not been made aware of yet, but that's what they've allowed us to see. This gentleman here on screen, he's going to kind of be the villain in this, but he comes bearing gifts in terms of cash money. And of course, you know, when people are desperate, they do desperate things. And so that's what it kind of looks like this story is going to be. And supposedly this is an extension of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie. And so I think Shuri may pop up in this as well. But we see. The unfortunate part is we don't exactly know when this series is dropping. In fact, it literally said sometime in 2025. So I don't know if they're doing post-production stuff or whatever. The film been wrapped, or the series itself has been wrapped. So I'm thinking that all that post-production stuff should be all done. They should be ready to like drop this on Disney Plus right now, as far as I'm concerned. But that's not the case. And they did take, you know, just a side note, they did take the Blade movie off the schedule. So there's that to look forward to. So Blade, which was initially supposed to come out in 2025, is not even on the schedule now. They removed it, which basically is translation, you're not going to see a Blade movie. So yeah. But anyway, that's what's going on with that. So as far as the other D23 stuff, the only thing I really cared about was the Mandalorian Grogu movie. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I could care less about Frozen. I could care less about The Incredibles 3. I'm going to watch it like everybody else, but wasn't really much that I could just really be excited about as far as Disney and their shenanigans. They be doing too much sometimes. Half the time they don't be doing enough, but the other time they just do too much. So yeah. So that's what's going on with that. So my man, behind the scenes is how Riri gonna get more screen time than Rose War Machine. Well, here's the thing about that. The Armor War thing is gone. They have kind of like, somebody need to check on John Cheadle. Because initially Armor Wars was going to be a series. Then they said we're going to make it into a movie. And then they just kind of like pushed it out the way. So Armor Wars is done. So that's why the whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the MCU as Doom is frustrating, is because, like, man, y'all got stuff on the docket or stuff that was planned or whatever. Y'all not even going to release. Y'all bringing this dude back, and his Iron Man, he's supposed to be dead. So I don't know if he's going to be the Doom that everybody's talking about, or he's going to be AI Tony Stark. We don't know nothing. We just know he showed up at San Diego Comic-Con with the Doom mask on, took it off, and everybody just cheered like he was Jesus or somebody. But that's another story. Yeah, that's what's going on. So no, but Blade, Agatha's out next month. Yeah, well, got to get the white people something to watch. Sorry about that. Not sorry. But yeah, everybody that liked, WandaVision might find it intriguing or whatever. But, I don't know about this. I really don't. Am I going to watch it? I might give it a look. But am I going to be just like waiting every week when every episode comes out? Nah, probably not. So, yeah. He says, behind the scenes says, War Machine team up with Ironheart makes too much sense. It's not rocket science. Yeah, y'all check on Don Cheadle. Behind the scenes, I'll tell you what. Behind the scenes, you must be you stop taking the red pill because you're very optimistic. You said maybe Brother Voodoo will bring a cameo to Agatha. That would be dope. That would be dope. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much with the MCU that's crazy. Bateman said, "What's Agatha?" You don't know who Agatha Harkness is, my brother? You and about 50,000 other blurs don't know. You ain't missing that either, bro. But if you really want to know who Agatha Harkness is, she's kind of like one of the co-creators or co-founders of the Darkhold. And that's me being facetious when I say it like that. So yeah. So she's connected to WandaVision or to Scarlet Witch. No one asked for Agatha. No one did, but they showed giving it to us. Yep. And H&H tells my man Dion, he says they still owe us Blue Marvel from the Marvels movie. Yeah. Shout out to all of y'all that bought them $7.99 action figures at Ollie's. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Well, look, guys, that's all I got as far as news and that kind of shenanigans. We're gonna transition. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to talk Atlantic Comic-Con, and we'll get into chat talk. That's what we're gonna do. So get you something to drink, grab your snack or whatever, drain the main vein. We'll be back in a minute. What do you do when you're black and blue, when your paycheck is not a sign of respect, and the most you can hope for is going home without stars from the superhero walls? Code of Honor, written by Chuck Dixon, spins a yarn about cops and heroes that you can never mistake one for the other. Officer Jeffrey Piper is a wide-eyed rookie who gets a lesson in ethics on his first few days on the job. He learns how the lines get blurred. He learns more blurry, all the more the worry. Still, he's the optimist. There's lots of overtime to go with thoughts that undermine.
his goal to be seen as a hero. But he gets a lesson in reality. That lesson being heroes fly while the masses die and cops serve only for crowd control. But leave it to Officer Piper to find sunshine in the cold, dark world. Trouble is, Officer Piper is so used to the darkness that the light he loves bothers him. She wants him to be better, which is a switch, seeing that he wanted to be a hero at first. But like I said, the lines get blurred at times. Code of Honor is a 4-issue story that you can find in your dollar bins. Pick this up and you won't be able to put it down. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
Hello, hello, hello. Tim Fielder here, author of Maddie's Rocket, Infinitum and Afrofuturist Tale, and the graphic history of hip hop. I'm a visual Afrofuturist and graphic novelist. Buy my books. Go to Diesel Funk, at Diesel Funk on all social media handles. I need you to buy my books. Thank you, Black Comic Lords. Peace.
We back. We are back. So, in a few days, yours truly, the Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam, will be traveling to Norfolk, Virginia for Atlantic Comic-Con 2024 inaugural, is that the word, campaign. The first one, y'all. So, yeah. Shout out to Ron Flood and Greg Burnham for this amazing project. You know, it's kind of cool to just see my brother, particularly Mr. 9.8, bring this to fruition. And now, in a few days, it's finally here. And so, hopefully, if you get an opportunity, you will travel to Norfolk, Virginia, and hang out with us for Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a great time, and there's going to be a lot to do. It's going to be lots of artists. It's going to be cosplay. It's going to be discussions. It's going to be pretty dope. Pretty dope, man. Looking forward to just hanging out and being with some of my brothers from across the country, chopping it up, just having a good time, you know, talking comics, talking, you know, blurred culture and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man, y'all, I hope you guys are able to make it. For those of you that can't, don't worry, because I do believe that Black Comic Lords will be live streaming at some point from the event. And so we're going to definitely do a show while we're there. So you guys will see us, you know what I'm saying? You can't be there, you can be with us in spirit. So yeah. And yeah, man, so we got the schedule there. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's laid out as, you know, there's an opening ceremony. Then it's going to be a panel discussion, workshop. You know, Greg Burnham is doing a workshop. So that's going to be dope. Greg Burnham, for those who don't know, works with Marcus Williams on projects like Tuskegee Airs. So yeah, you'll see Marcus Williams is going to be there as well. It's going to be dope, man. So yeah, it's going to be, you know, like I said, workshops. Then the Artist Alley and the Vendor Hall will be open from 1 to 6 on that Saturday. So, you know, that'd be the time when we can all, you know, meet some dope creators, Alita Martinez, among others. It's gonna be some people there, man. I'm gonna try my best to not fan out. You know, I don't want to fan out, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be kind of hard for me to contain myself when I get a chance to see some of the people, man, I want to see. Marcus Williams for sure. Larry Stroman, definitely a hero of mine. Dr. Dion Whitted, I have a couple of her books. I'm looking forward to that discussion. You know what I'm saying? Aletha Evelyn Martinez, dope artist. You know, Newton LaVoy's, Crescent City Monsters. We've interviewed Black Comic Laws has interviewed. I'm sorry, many of these guys, and so we'll get a chance. Some of these guys will be the first time we're meeting them, so we're definitely gonna try to connect y'all with some new people. You know, Todd Johnson from Tribe is gonna be there, of course, along with his partner Larry Stroman. So yeah, and as I said, it's gonna be some cosplay there. It's gonna be some geek stuff going on, y'all. It's gonna be not just comics or whatever. This is a culture thing. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty amazing, man. There's Patrick Foreman, who's co-wrote the Black Cotton book, and Brian Hawkins, his partner there as well. So yeah, man, it's going to be amazing, amazing. So yeah, so get your tickets. You know what I'm saying? If you can make the trip, great. If you can't, you know what I'm saying, try to plan to be there or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And I'm gonna tell you, I'll share it with you like this. Flying to Norfolk is not easy for me here in the South. I had to pick a struggle, and to make my way there, I am going to have a very long layover in Orlando. Now, my man Paul and Herschel live in the Orlando area. But they probably are going to be flying out either the same time. We might be all on the same flight coming there. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting. My flight leaves here in DFW like 5 in the morning. And I fly to Orlando, and then I don't fly to Norfolk till like late afternoon. Not afternoon, late evening. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this happens or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't no spring chicken, and I always say that. I'll be facetious when I say that, y'all, because I'm really a kid at heart. But these grades are on here for a reason. And you know, but I hope to have a wonderful time. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be cool just to not be able to have to like get up early in the morning. Just having a good time to just hang out, fellowship with some of my comic book brethren. It'll be my first time meeting with some of these guys in person. So I'm very excited. And again, I want to salute Jerome Flood for his labor of love, his hard work, and I want to salute Greg Burnham for partnering with him to make this happen, because I'm sure that it was not easy to pull this much together, this much talent for the culture. You know what I'm saying? This is going to put a flag, you know what I'm saying, in the ground, you know what I'm saying? And so anytime we're able to support, you know, a movement, I would say a moment for us that we can like go back and look at 5 years from now, and look at pictures and say, man, I remember that when we was there, remember that we saw that kind of thing. So it's the con experience, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, you know what I'm saying? I am going to have a good time, going to celebrate, going to just relax, you know what I'm saying? And just be there to just really, you know, just be a guy. I ain't got to worry about the cares of the world for a day or two. And then they'd be back in the saddle. Because it's funny though, because when I go back home that week, that after the con, school starts. So I'm literally going from the last hurrah to back to studies and, you know, bury myself in a book for the next 6 months. Chicago Vegas says, any Black comic lords going to Ocola or Tampa Comic Con? I'm not sure. You know, you know, Paul and Herschel, they like right there in Orlando. They would probably be ideal to go, but I'm not even really sure as far as Paul is concerned. That guy is, you know what? Let me shout out his partner, Mark. Paul and Mark do a show on Friday night, Wakanda Whiskey and Blurred. And these are two guys that went to college together. And, you know, they best buds, whatever. They love comics. They love all things Black Panther. And they get a little tipsy while they talk about it. But shout out to my man, ATL Blurred. Mark, you know, Mark is a great follow on Instagram. So Mark has been traveling. He was in Italy for a little while, and he took a lot of great pictures of the Vatican and stuff. It seemed like he had a wonderful time, and I'm glad he did. You know what I'm saying? And it's just cool, you know what I'm saying, to see people that you watch and that you respect and that you really got an affinity for, or somebody that's in proximity to just be able to just live their life, you know, and celebrate and do things. Because sometimes we work so hard, we forget to celebrate, we forget to go vacation. So my message to all of you guys out there that are working and grinding, do not forget to celebrate and do not forget to go on vacation. I was someone early in my earlier years that never went on vacation. When I went on my quote unquote first vacation, it blessed me to no end. Cause you know, I'm in the struggle. I'm in the mud trying to get it. And a vacation is literally just a couple of days off to sleep. But no, you should get up, you should go somewhere, see something that you don't see where you are, and just chill and have a good time. I just think that there's wisdom in that, you know what I'm saying? And just being able to just relax and get away. A day off here, a daycation, as I like to call it, is cool, but there's nothing like getting away multiple days, waking up in a different city, in a different time zone, and just like seeing something different. My man Casey, I've never been on vacation. Hey, do that, bro. Please do yourself a favor and do that. You know what I'm saying? And it may take you a year to plan it. It may take you 6 months to plan it. Whatever it is, do it because you'll be better for it. Your health, you don't realize, I think people don't realize how much stress we put on these bodies and on these minds. Just the day-to-day trying to get things done. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're able to like get away from the rat race of it all, because just because you take a day off does not mean you get away from stuff. I mean, most times I was the kind of guy, I took a day off I take a day off to go to the doctor. I take a day off to go pay a bill. I take a day off and that's no way to live because I'm still having to do something. There's nothing like being able to wake up somewhere and you don't have to do nothing but enjoy. One of the most, I'll share this thing and we're going to transition to the chat talk. One of my most favorite, my wife and I, is one of our most favorite cities to visit is San Antonio. We love San Antonio. Wouldn't want to live there, but that's a spot that me and my wife enjoy going to. And I remember being at a resort in San Antonio about 6:30 in the morning. I'm sitting on the balcony, reading my Bible, watching the sun come up, watching deer in the distance at this resort. And I'm just like really at peace. A peace that kind of washed over me. I was in no hurry to get nowhere. I didn't have to go plan for a sermon. I didn't have to get ready to go to work. I didn't have to like really think about what bills are due or whatever. I was really there in a moment. My whole body, mind, and soul was at that moment. It's hard when the older you get, it's hard for you to have moments where your mind, body, and soul are in the same place at the same time. There's always something pulling at us. There's always something we got to do. There's always something that we got to fix. It's always something we got to, man, find a way to get away. Okay? That's my message. I'm going to get out my soapbox. Let's get back to these comics. That's what's up. With that said, we're going to go ahead and transition. Yes, San Antonio School Experience the Real Walk. Yeah. Got some of the best barbecue too down on the Riverwalk, matter of fact. But with that said, we're going to transition to chat talk. That's what you guys want to talk about. What books have you read this week? Those kind of thing. And Derek just popped this up on my screen. So look, tomorrow night, speaking of always got something to do, tomorrow night, we are going to interview Sanford Green of Bitterroot and Doom. He will be our guest tomorrow night on Black Comic Lords. So y'all stay tuned for that. That's going to be a fire conversation. A fire conversation. And please, guys, hit the like button. Come on, guys. Y'all been in here a minute. We've been in here a minute. Hit the like button. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. So tomorrow night, Sanford Green's going to be in the building. We'll have a good time with him. So, you got any questions about Bitterroot? We do know and finally got confirmation that Bitterroot is returning real soon. So, yeah. And from what I can tell, the story is going to take a turn a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit more, I think, I want to say, not an origin story, but it's going to be more like a time piece or whatever. So, yeah. But yeah, Dion said that Doom comic is crazy good. Yeah, man. I was, somebody was like, man, when the next issue coming out? I was like, bro, that was it. It was just a one shot, Shout out to him and Jonathan Hickman. They did their thing on that book. Yeah. I mean, it did go on the second print from what I understand. So, yeah. Juan says, finally just started to read X-Force. So, the sports books I read this week, I read a lot of stuff, man. This is the book I was looking forward to most. This is a version variant cover of A Vicious Circle. The Vicious Circle, finally, we got the last book in, and the art is amazing, of course. Spot Jenkins with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yes, yes, yes.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Dion says, I was not feeling the ending for A Vicious Circle. I don't think necessarily nobody was. The way it ended was like kind of like we're just going to keep going and going and going with this endless war. I dig the story, the premise of the story, whatever. But I think the reason why they ended it the way they did was kind of like to let you know that this story has no ending. That was the whole point of the series itself. That certain things just do not end, that there is no end for any. You could try to change history, doesn't matter. You're going to find yourself in this one spot over and over and over again. Mawan says, has anyone read the Radiant books? I did not. I was not a Radiant Black, Radiant Red. I never read any of those books. I heard they weren't that good. And like I said, that's just what I heard. And I kind of took somebody's word for that, which is why I never got it. So yeah, but the Vicious Circle book, from what I understand, they're going to make a series out of it. That it's already been greenlit, and they already trying to do production stuff on it. So that's going to be in on the big screen, on the small screen pretty soon. So Afro S says, I've been reading old 80s Marvel Shadowline books, Dr. Zero, Dennis Cowan, Bill, since Sketchwitch art. Yeah, that's what's up. So I've been doing that. I've been reading my Spawn stuff, of course, the Scorch book, the Misery book, and Gunslinger. So I read those this week. All of them were pretty good. The Misery book was kind of like, but issue 3 kind of ratcheted up a notch. Issue 3 is pretty good. So this book here, man, what can you say about the Ultimate Black Panther? It's a great book, bro. Great book. That's all I can say. Shout out to Brian Edward Hill. Uncle coming out soon. Yeah, it'll be out soon. Now this was a surprise. Now behind the scenes, anyone feeling the Nazi Boys reads like a trade. The floppy pacing is horrible. I'm enjoying the Nazi Boys. I think the Nazi Boys is pretty cool. I don't like the fact that it's a Dark Horse title, because Dark Horse likes to give you a 22-page comic, but only give you 15 pages of material. They put a lot of ads in their stuff. Is kind of ridiculous to me. Kay says, the people going to be mad seeing a certain romance in Ultimate BP. Well, it is what it is. So this was one of my surprise reads this week. I didn't even know this book was coming out. I'm glad I picked it up. Prodigy, Slaves of Mars. So Mark Millar is back with Prodigy and Edison Crane. That's been pretty good. So I read that. Then I read this here, Beyond the Pale. This is issue 3. It's about a photojournalist who is kind of doing some work with Vietnam soldiers, whatever. There's a monster lurking, and come to find out, some soldiers are involved in this situation with the monster, whatever. So it's more of a horror comic. Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 6 was not that good. This is starting to wane a little bit. I'm not a big fan of Hammerhead as a Spider-Man villain. Never have been, but the issue was like a filler issue. Inquisitors, Rodney Barnes, issue number 2 came out. Read that, enjoyed it. Yeah, it's Rodney Barnes is all I'm gonna say. So yeah, you already know it's good. So read that. Thor's Drinking Buddy. Say, first time catching live. Been watching your past videos. Love your passion for the industry. Salute. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. And I read this today too. Incredible Hulk issue number 15. By Philip Kennedy Johnson. Enjoying it. You know, Hulk. As far as I'm concerned, reading this run here, Hulk should have always been a horror genre character, in my opinion, my humble opinion, because I'm enjoying this story with the eldest and what Bruce Banner and what the Hulk himself is doing. So now he says, Afro SF says, Dark Horse has done a wonderful job with Unique Studios graphic novels. The series amazing. I enjoy the Unique Studio stuff. I do, but the Dark Horse floppies, man, them and Boom Studios are notorious for giving you a comic book, 22-page comic with 15 pages of material and 7 pages of ads. Like, come on. Matter of fact, let me get at Marvel about this book. The Inquisitors, like I said, is Rodney Barnes. Okay? But here's the problem with this book. So, first page is an ad for Darth Vader, issue 49. We turn 2 pages. Star Wars, another ad for Charles Choulet's book. 1, 2 pages over. Some more Star Wars ads. Okay. 1 page over. High Republic. Let's go. 1, 2 pages over. Dark Droids. Okay. Next page. Santa Staros. All of these ads. This is a comic book, but it is really basically an ad for Star Wars comic books. That's all it is. Very little story. Turn another page. There's Darth Vader. again. Okay, two pages open. Here's Ahsoka, issue number 2, getting ready to come out. Written by Rodney Barnes as well. All right, turn the page. 1, 2, 2 pages over. So literally, this comic book is literally 1 page, 2 page, 1 page, 2 page, full of ads. Full of ads. And this is a $5 comic book. $4.99. And they wonder why the industry is in the trash. Let's see what my man Thor says. I agree what Nick Klein does with the art has been gnarly as a massive Hulk fan, ready for the Green Monster to be part of the main problems in the 616. Manifesto says, could Tombstone beat down Hammerhead? I don't know. You got a wide head for a reason. Go Behind says, agree, Rich. Hulk should have remained a horror book. It was for the first 3 issues at the very beginning when the character first appeared. Al Ewing did a great run reintroducing the horror element. Yeah. So yeah, man. So that was some of the books that I read this week. I read others as well, but I think I'm having you know how you fly on a plane, you get jet lag. I think I'm getting blood hunt lag. Is that a thing? Blood hunt lag, you know what I'm saying? I'm used to going to the comic shop and finding a blood hunt book in my I was like, can't believe it's over. Can't believe it's over, man. But I'm glad it's over. Shout out to Marvel for running out pockets, bro. They had us broke all summer. So what you guys reading? Scott Caesar, okay. He says, DC is still the epitome of trash. How you gonna have a Birds of Prey in Gotham City Silence book? No Signal, no Mr. Terrific, no Martian Manhunter. Only one at a time, I guess, John Stewart. Well, look. I cannot speak for. I have a love-hate relationship with DC. Batman is my favorite book. Not my favorite book. He's my favorite character. Matter of fact, I did read the Batman book, Batman issue. I had it right here. Where did it go? What did I do with it? It's here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I read this one, issue 151. And it's a part of the Absolute Power tie-in. Enjoyed it. These books, I've maintained this so long. So the last couple of years, DC has had the better stories versus Marvel. The problem with DC is, though, they have this tendency, unlike Marvel, I'll put it like this, they're really, if I can say it like this, it's almost like the analogy of Democrats and Republicans. Left wing, right wing, it's the same funky bird. Except with these guys, they do the same thing, they just do them differently. We'll get a bunch of books that won't mean nothing. They're literally cash grabs. But the difference with DC is I think DC has more of a cult following than Marvel. A hardcore following. I think, and people talk about, as much as people talk about Marvel, DC has a rabid fan base. They can't ever make them happy, but you literally got a loyal fan base, loyal to the Trinity, which is Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Those books sell regardless. They sell regardless who's on them. They sell regardless of who's doing the art. Those books sell. He said, I thought Black Lightning was your favorite character. Black Lightning is my favorite black character, but Batman is my favorite comic book character, if that makes sense, boy. Which is weird because Black Lightning, I was a Batman fan before the comics. When I got into comics, Black Lightning was the guy that got me into quote unquote comic, really reading comics, that kind of deal. But the difference was Superman is the first superhero to interact with Black Lightning, not Batman. But Black Lightning is more tied to Batman now than Superman, which is weird to me. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And why they don't work more close together, or why they don't really have a relationship, is beyond me, because Tony Isabella gave them a space for them to kind of like work together long term. But you'd be hard pressed to find a Batman, not a Batman, you'd be hard to pressed to find a Superman Black Lightning book. I think there's only like 1 or 2 books with Black Lightning and Superman team up. There's nothing else. And yet Superman is the first superhero that he is in his first volume of Black Lightning books. But I was a Batman fan from the comics, not the comics. I was a Batman fan from the 1966 television show, Batman. And so I've always followed Batman from that perspective. I love Batman writers more than I love the quote unquote character, if that makes any sense. Was not a fan of Tom King's Batman, but Joshua Williamson, Chip Zdarsky's Batman, some of the Batman from back in the day, some of those earlier writers or whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. The Rich says, I think DC fell off once Wizard magazine stopped. Yeah, there was a lot of spec going on. So yeah. It's weird though, man. I'm gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? It's these relationships or whatever, because a lot of people don't like Superman. I like Superman. I like when he's written right, he's an amazing character. But, manifest say same job turkeys. Now, Thor's thinking, but it gives Tom and he says, what's going on with Milestone Comics? DC is funding Elseworlds Black Label, now Absolute. I just missed it. Now this comment here says DC has some diehard fans, but they ain't growing the fan base compared to Marvel. The month of May, Marvel had 8 of the top 10 best-selling comics, Transformers and Batman, the other 2. That's my point. I think that what I was trying to make, I kind of got sidetracked. They will. I think they don't really care. I'm going to be honest. I think Marvel cares more than DC does. DC's attitude is kind of like, we're going to do what we want to do. We're going to give you a crisis event, and you're going to buy it because we're doing a crisis event. We're going to buy it because you're going to buy it because we want you to buy it. And that's what happens. Unfortunately, that's what happens. It is what it is. Marvel is a little different. And the reason why I think Marvel is a little different is because of the 616. Now, he actually did I like Neil Adams' Batman? Yes, absolutely. 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 I mean, there's a lot of Batman stories, man, that are amazing. One of my favorite Batman stories is not even really it's a Batman story, but it's more of a Joker-centered story. The Devil's Advocate by Chuck Dixon is one of my favorite Batman, quote unquote, / Joker stories. Phenomenal. The War of Jokes and Riddles, that Batman story, where basically the Joker and the Riddler are going to war and Bruce Wayne needs to pick a side. That was entertaining. That was entertaining. So as far as Milestone goes, Milestone's coming back with the Shadow Cabinet. Shadow Cabinet is coming out in May, and not May. I'm sorry, November. November Shadow Cabinet will be back, and I'm glad to see Milestone return. About time. About time. So let's see. Blood Syndicate, DC Black Label. This is going to be an unpopular thought. So, Derek, I need you to run my disclaimer. I'm about to say something, but I need. Okay. Black Comic Lore says, try this on for size, Blood Syndicate, DC Black Label. This is just my opinion. It has nothing against the writers that was on the Blood Syndicate. I just think it was the direction that they took the Blood Syndicate in. I think they nerfed the Blood Syndicate. I just do. I think the story that they wrote was good. Shout out to Jeffrey Thorne for season 1 of Blood Syndicate. But I think they nerfed, the Blood Syndicate. And it could be I'm just an old head and I just want the old stuff. But I wanted the Blood Syndicate to have its gangster elements. I didn't want them to like have the military background, which I guess in some cases is gangster. But I just think that they should have just kept the original elements in that story. Same thing like they did with Static. I think that when they retconned the Static origin story, I thought that was a mistake. Yeah. Kay says they still need to do right by Velez. They do. They know. We have told them. We have told them so. Now, Scott sees that DC does token characters of the year. Right now, it's Blue Beetle and Jon Stewart. They'll switch Jon for Joe because she's a triple word score. This guy. Well, you know what's interesting? Somebody, shout out to Herschel. Herschel put up a post. Well, I'll take it back. Somebody put up a post. It wasn't Herschel, I don't think. I think Herschel responded to it. But it was a post about the Ultimate Universe. And Black Cat in the Ultimate Universe is a black character. And so the question is, can this person or can Black Cat be black since it's the Ultimate Universe? It's not the main universe, it's the Ultimate Universe. Can she be black? And of course, the answer to that is yes, she can be black because it's not the same universe. However, I think sometimes we misplace what representation is. Representation is not taking characters, established characters, and giving them a new race or a new gender identity. That's not representation. Representation, true representation, will always be in the form of original characters. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. True representation comes in the form of original characters, not in these legacy characters that have been. And here's the thing: I will buy comic books with legacy characters. I have no problem enjoying them. I have no problem reading about them. I have no problem discussing them. But am I distracted from the fact that this is a legacy character? No, not at all. I think what happens, though, is it's an easy, quote unquote, thing for them to do than to create a new character. A new character, you have to give that person an origin story. You have to give that person a personality. You have to give that person an true identity. But when you take a character that's been established, like, I'm going to say something very, it's not even uncomfortable. We've had this discussion. I'm not a fan of Sam Wilson, Captain America. Now, I will read a Sam Wilson, Captain America comic book. I don't view it as just trash. but I could if I wanted to from this perspective. Falcon was an original character who had an original origin story, who had his own identity. You took that original thought as to who he was and put him in the Stars and Stripes and took away his identity as Falcon. Now, when everybody sees him in the Stars and Stripes, I don't see Captain America. I see Black Falcon. That's what I see. It's like the Coming to America joke. Mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. So all of these things that go on at these companies or whatever, when they do these things, it's cool. It is. Like I watched a few episodes of the Batman new series on Amazon. It's cool for what it is. It's cool for what it is. But is it the best thing since sliced bread? No. Is it representation? No. Not at all. Not at all. If somebody's running around championing this about this is representation, no, it's not. It's not. And only those who do not know the truth will say that. It's not representation. It is just simply a blackface in the place. I don't need Commissioner Gordon to be a brother. Now he's a brother in the Batman movie that just came out, the Matt Reeves Batman story. I have no problem with it. It was cool for what it was. But I grew up with Commissioner Gordon being a white dude. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? What was wrong with leaving him white? You know what I'm saying? Because him being black does not move any needles whatsoever. So again, we got to think about this. Now, Rich, he says, shout out to Paul. He says, I cringe when Rich asked for his own disclaimer. It really wasn't necessary in this instance, though. Well, you know, I had to make sure I was good with management. I am working on my DEI perspective. Yeah. He says, what Rich is expressing can be seen, it's moving kind of fast now, can be seen as a larger metaphor. Falcons, i.e. Falcons' original identity. Robin Monroe says the issue of creating new characters is that the creator gets no financial benefit. If the character blows up, the creator gets no to little money in return from the movies, the cartoons, and the toys. Yes. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about, Robin Monroe. Thank you for that comment. It's all about the money. At the end of the day, it's about the money. It's not, and here's the thing. When we as black comic heads go into these white spaces and we have to have these conversations with these guys that don't like black Batman, like Jace Fox or whatever, it really puts us almost not necessarily in a defensive mode, but it puts us in a pickle because it's like, you know, hey, we don't have a problem seeing Jace Fox being a Batman in Brooklyn. That was the whole point of them moving him to his own place to have his own identity. But when you say that this is trash because he's not Bruce Wayne or whatever, I'm feeling some type of way because it's like, you do know that we didn't really ask for this. We didn't ask for a black Batman. We didn't. We got it, but we didn't. But while we got it, we're going to enjoy it because, again, our representation, it doesn't get reflected in the big two like it should or like it could. You know, and that's why projects like Epiphany Engine give everybody cause to kind of like, yeah, we don't have to do this. We don't have to play this game with DC no more. We don't have to play this game with Marvel anymore. We can go out and we can really buy our own stuff. We ain't got to look at your stuff. Now, here's what a pickle is. The pickle with this is that if we do that, can we keep that perpetual motion in motion? Because that's the thing. It's kind of like what happened with Milestone, which is frustrating. And shout out to Paul, because Paul literally had to pull me in off the ledge 100 times. I'm like, I'm ready to wash my hands with you dudes. Because I'm like, where are the books? What are you guys doing? Why can't we see? And Paul was like, don't worry, they're coming, Rich. They're coming. You know, just kind of like I was his listen, when John Ridley was writing a certain book, and I would tell Paul, come on, give us some time. Paul was that for me with this milestone stuff. And at some point, it got to a point, and we kind of switched sides, because when Paul was killing a certain writer about a certain book, I was like, man, let's see where he's going. It's trash, Richard. I want to hear it. It's trash. Hold on, bro. Let's see where he's going. After about 7 issues, I was like, you know what? This is trash. So when it came to the milestone stuff, the milestone books were coming out like every other month, 2 months or so. I'm like, Paul, what they doing? Man, hold on. They legends. They got it. They got it, bro. They got it. And after a while, Paul was like, you know what, Rich? Comics is funny, man. Comics is funny. What did Paul say? He says, the issue is not just about paying original characters by credits, although that is true, because they can encourage creators to delve into the past characters and take them off the shelf. The companies don't push to use the old characters either, because of merchandising of the more established characters. Zell Ray says, even as a kid growing up, I never cared about Falcon because I was never given a reason to care for him. Same for the Black Panther back in the 70s and 80s. Listen, here's the thing. You know, the situation with Ollie's is interesting. Ollie's is a benefactor to an industry that is basically serving an underserved market, if I can say it like that. You can go to an Ollie's and you can find these characters, these particularly action figures that you could not find in, say, Target or Walmart. And if you did find them in Target or Walmart, the prices on them things was outrageous. I'm not an action figure guy, so I don't have no skin in this game at all. But what it has caused people to do, and particularly in our hobby, is, you know what? Since y'all not gonna make these characters, we gonna make them ourselves. That's what has happened. And here's the thing about that. For those who still want these characters, and it's like, okay, well, we tried to put these characters out for this particular movie or whatever. They didn't sell, they didn't move, so we're just gonna sell them to this discount chain or whatever and see if and people have enjoyed that. People have enjoyed going to Ollie's. You know, I was upset and laughing at the same time when the Marvels movie came out. Because right after that movie came out, that's when Blue Marvel as an action figure popped up. You could not find Blue Marvel in a you couldn't find Blue Marvel in a Walmart. You couldn't find Blue Marvel in a Target. You couldn't find Blue Marvel nowhere. But all of a sudden, these Blue Marvel action figures popped out of nowhere. And it was all because Marvel had a deal in place to sell these action figures to go along with this movie. And that was the sad part about it. And Marvel, to their credit, they have not even addressed it. They will not talk about Blue Marvel at all, because they know that was a character that was supposed to show up in that movie. They know that. There's no reason why these characters, these action figures from Blue Marvel, just pop out of nowhere right after the Marvels movie after the Marvels movie came out and flopped. And so they put Blue Marvel stuff on the cutting floor. Scott sees they have to promote these underrated characters through animation. It's the only way to grow the audience. See Static, Jon Stewart, useless Harley Quinn came from a cartoon. It's been everywhere. Yeah. Harley Quinn is proof that you can do things through animation, for sure. For sure. Big Dog Gaming. He said, I got to go. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to catching another live down the road. Thanks, Thor. Appreciate you. Big Dog Gaming says, there are good black characters. We just need to see some good black writers on them, but they have to be impactful to the main universe stories. You know, here's the thing about that. I think that what happens is, and this goes to editorial, and it goes to what they really want to do. Sometimes I just wish that these entities, that the editorial and that the studio, I just kind of wish that they weren't in the same building or in the same zip code or in the same country. Sometimes I just want let the comic book guys be the comic book guys. It's kind of like football, okay? I'm not a Cowboys fan, but if someone was to ask me, what do you think is wrong with the Cowboys? Why do you think the Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl in over 30 years? I'll say you got to look no further than the owner, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, for whatever reason, thinks he can be a general manager. Thinks he can be, he knows talent. Thinks he knows certain things or whatever, right? And his ego has allowed him to make decisions that were not the best for the organization. But because he's the owner, he can do what he wants. It's his toy. He can do whatever he wants. So he just does anything. You know what I'm saying? Instead of hiring people and hiring coaches that are not yes men. You need somebody to let, if you hire a head coach, you let that head coach coach. If you hire a general manager, which is what he's failed to do, talk about Jerry Jones. If he hired a general manager, let him be the one to go out and make the decisions on what you need to get. I'm tired of marveling and particularly always going to the comics and saying, hey, this is what we want to do. You need to write books and stories that are taking us this direction. No, whatever happens to the day is just making a dope comic book. Chicago-based Cowboys trash. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I live here in DFW, but no, I'm a Texas fan for sure. So that's what's up, Chicago Vega. Texas versus Bears, 9:15. That's what's up. Definitely looking forward to that, man. I got a brother in my church. He's from Chicago. I was messing with him today. I said, "What's up with the Bears, bro?" He just started laughing. Man, I don't want to get caught up in the hype. So, shout out to football season. It's around the corner, y'all. Yeah. So, I just think that they just need to let people do what they do. The comics, I want the comics to be separate from it. That's why I don't really get upset about it, because I really want the comics to be their own thing. But they don't want that to be the case. Death Rocker said, is the original Deathlock black? No, the original Deathlock is not black. Shout out to Steelers Nation. That's what's up. McQuarrie says Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl. They say that every year. Every year. This our year. This our year. Then they get to the playoffs and fold like wet paper. That's a shame. Big Dog Gamer says amateur black toy makers must make these characters on the black market themselves. We must create a buzz market around them. Top-notch amateur black toys making is a must to get these characters out. Well, look, here's the thing about that. I think that with the independent wave that is going on right now, I do believe that we're going to start seeing, I think it'll be a slow boogie, but we're going to start seeing these action figures from these independent, because I think the people have shown that they will support you and they will buy your product when you make it available. That's the thing, you know what I'm saying? I learned this a long time ago that if you build it, they will come, but you got to build it. A character like Titan, for example, Titan the Ultraman from Advent Comics has an opportunity to do something special when they get a toy, an action figure, I should say, around that guy, he has a chance. Animation is the biggest thing. Animation is the biggest thing, but it literally takes 2 years to make an animated series or animated story. You can do shorts, but it literally takes that long to make an actual series, 2 years. And so you're asking independents to kind of do that, and it's kind of like, gotta have the bread to do that. Animation is not cheap. It can be beneficial long term or whatever, but you gotta have the grind, and you gotta have the studios, and you gotta have, at the end of the day, it's about money. Manifesto, has Rich seen the new Batman animation? I have. I've watched a few episodes of it, so it's been cool. I do kind of like the Harley Quinn character, but it's cool. It's not Batman the animated series with Kevin Conroy. That's the gold standard. That's the gold standard. You cannot make me back away from that. That's the dude, and that's the series. This stuff, I take it for what it is. It's cool, but that's it. He says, Rich. Jay says, Rich, will you be checking out Avengers versus Aliens? And did you see the preview pages, one with T'Challa, maybe Azuri? Have not seen the preview pages to it yet, but I'm definitely going to be reading it for sure. King Sigma says, am I the only one that wishes Marvel would have done more with the second Deathlock? Of course. Of course. Now I will. Let me just say this: Deathlock, the run that Dwayne McDuffie did with Dennis Cowan, is one of the best Black teen Marvel books. Period. That run with Dennis Cowan and Dwayne McDuffie was amazing. Was amazing. And I'll be honest, I don't think you've had nothing since. I don't think you had nothing since on that level. Dwayne McDuffie is my favorite comic book writer. I love Dwayne McDuffie. When I found out that he did a Batman series, man, I hunted those books down. I got I got multiple copies of that series in my collection. Yeah. I mean, Dwayne McDuffie, man, I miss that dude. That's the thing about this whole renaissance of what's going on with Black comics that's interesting to me, bro. I wish he was here to see what's going on right now. I wish he was here to see that, man. It breaks my heart because he was the guy at the time who was respected at Marvel and DC for what he did. And even after Milestone, and to see where comics are today, and with the number of Black comic book creators and Black comic book writers, like shout out to my man Jeffrey Thorne. Man, I mean, it's just, you go back and you read some of that Milestone stuff, bro. That Icon run, that Hardware run. I can't read it without shedding a tear. Because if that dude had been around, I'm honestly believing that the competition, and that's the thing I think that our community needs. It needs the competitive spirit in it. We need some people that's writing, that's pushing other writers to be better, to be their best, to really just like, you know what? I know you. I saw what you did there, Doc. I saw what you did there, Doc. But wait till you get this next issue. I want people to have that kind of camaraderie and that kind of competitive nature when it comes to these books. Because if we push one another, if these writers push one another, the material will be so much better, and the fans will Guys like you and I would benefit. You know, we just would. Primal One says, rest in peace, DeWalt McDuffie was a pioneer in the game. I'm going through the Milestone Compendium #1 right now. The storytelling and artwork is amazing. Yeah. That was our Stan Lee, bro. I still say that. That was our Stan Lee. Pericles talks about, he says, Dwayne's Fantastic Four run was underrated. You know what's funny? I just copped all of those issues too of the Fantastic Four. He did like 8 issues of the Fantastic Four. I've had to trade for that, but finding those books have been hard. And I finally got all the floppies of that run he did. So yeah. He's behind the scenes, his competitive nature equals beef drama with creators. Look, I don't have a listen. If it creates any kind of beef, Dion, or you know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with some stuff. And the reason why I'm okay with some stuff is because I feel like if you push the competition, and I'm not talking about on a, you know, if you're going to quote unquote put like this, what people call beef today is not beef. That's just a word. It's like when every rapper that's been around for more than 3 years gets called a legend. That kills me. Dude just put out 1 album, 2 albums, or whatever. We're interviewing a legend, and he put out his last album like 3 years ago, but he's a legend. Okay, but I just think that if we had more competition, and we not all seeing the same thing, you know, I think Anaya Publishing tried to be that competition for Milestone back in the day. I think it didn't work. Matter of fact, I know it didn't work. But the point is that if they had like really been able to do what they did, then Anaya Publishing would probably be still around today. But they're not. So, yeah. It says, right, like people calling any criticism nowadays a hate. It ain't always got to be. And for real, man, we gotta, you know, this have thick skin but a tender heart. You know what I'm saying? I think some people just need to have some thick skin. And we're talking about art. It would be different if we were talking about, I don't know. But we're not talking about anything else. We're talking about this. Art has to reach a level of excellence, or it has to stand out. It can't be, if everybody could quote unquote do this, then really could you really take it could you really take it serious? No. You know, J. Scott Campbell, if everybody could draw like J. Scott Campbell, if everybody could draw like, you know, Marcus Williams, if everybody could write like Jeffrey Thorne, or if everybody could write like Christopher Priest or whatever, then kind of like, would Priest be Priest for real? No. We need competition, man. We really do. Deathlock is another character that would make a crazy horror action film. Let Blumhouse have him. I would go to the theater to see that. You know what? That would be kind of cool to do. Dwayne McDuffie, when he wrote Deathlock, you know, he wrote him as Michael Collins. He wrote him as a pacifist. You know, imagine the thought about it. You know what I'm saying? Here's a guy who abhors violence, but he's literally a killing machine. And how he navigates it with that whole thing. It was a pretty amazing thing that what McDuffie did with that run. So, yeah. Primal One says depends on the individual, but yeah, I agree for the most part. Dudes got to put in more work before they can qualify that for that kind of title. Yeah, that's all I'm saying is you know, I mean, I want, you know, these guys to like really compete for our dollars. You know what I'm saying? I just think that people don't compete like they should. You know, it's like we just had a whole 3 weeks or whatever it was the Olympics competition or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They can run the races and they can hug one another after it's said and done or whatever, but don't get it twisted. It's competition. You know, like Sha'Carri Richardson, when she ran that ankle leg or whatever, and she looked over at old girl and she gave her that look like, really? I'm about to turn on the jets. And that's what she did. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we want people that can deliver on that kind of thing. It's like storytelling. And shout out to Jeffrey Thorne. Jeff, I need to holler at you, bro. What you did to Deadpool, what you did to Deadpool in X-Force 1 was criminal, bro. and it would literally the funny part is, given Deadpool's power set and his healing factor, it makes it all that much more hilarious. And the fact that Forge is like, he just did it. It just didn't even give old boy a second thought. That was cold. That's like ice in your vein, cold. You be all right. I'm like, loot is literally being digested. That was crazy, bro. That's crazy. Listen, I enjoyed that comic book through and through. So shout out to Jeffrey Thorne for writing on X-Force, man. If I put it like this here, if the shenanigans that happened in issue 1 are going to be what this book is like going forward, sign me up for the chaos. Sign me up for the chaos. He says, I wish could do a combo Joe Man. Let's see, Campbell and Strowman, that would be a dope in terms of artwork. Jeff says, stick around, baby. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Y'all please put X-Force on your pull list. X-Force has a black writer, Jeffrey Thorne, he's in the building. And the first issue was great. And they're going to Wakanda. So yeah, all you Black Panther fans, y'all need to go get that just because. Just because. Let's see. Big Dog Gamer said, if everyone is special, then no one is special. The Black fandom can no longer accept mediocrity. From Black creators, we need only the top-notch Black writers and artists to create a new renaissance. You know, Big Dog Gaming, that's the thing. It's like, one of the things about Epiphany Engine that I'm looking forward to is the fact that they are the top-notch talent that they put on that book. All the top guys, top artists. Man, if we get that book and that book is not good, I'm gonna be so disappointed. And it's one of those things where, you know, I don't want this to be a super team. It is a super team, but I don't want this to be a super team. And what I mean by that is, you know, particularly in basketball, y'all remember when the Lakers got Shaq was there, but Kobe was there, but they went and got Karl Malone, they went and got Gary Payton, and people thought it's a wrap, it's over, ain't nobody. And them dudes did. They absolutely did nothing. So you have all these superstars on the team or whatever, you know. Now, to be fair, they weren't in their prime, but to know that it's like, okay, I'm expecting these guys to bring the title home. You know, sometimes you can buy a title and sometimes you can't. Azelle Ray says the Deathlock program for using dead soldiers should have been the American equivalent to Canada's Weapon X program. Well, you know, it's interesting. There were death locks in the what was that? There were death locks in the Avengers book, and I want to say in Eve Ewing's book. Eve Ewing's Black Panther had deadlock in it early. But he didn't stick around long enough. And again, from what we understand, Michael Collins is, I want to say, dead. The Black Deadlock. So I'm not sure. Scott Stevens said he lost to the Pistons almost as bad as the Heat losing to the Mavericks. Pathetic. Yeah. Yeah, that was one right there. I remember thinking to myself when Dallas won that title that it's something to be said about chemistry. You know, you can have all the superstars on one side of the squad all day long, but if you have no chemistry, it's crazy. Matter of fact, if Deadpool wasn't already insane, he would be. And I'm pretty sure he has a bullet for Forge after this is over. But the funny thing is, he's a merc, so he got paid. And so it's kind of like, you served your purpose, you got paid for it. He gonna live to spend it, but is he gonna be mad? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yep. Yes, indeed. Man, oh man. Well, guys, I am about to get out of here. It has been fun hanging out with y'all. It has been fun. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Thank you guys for coming. And again, tomorrow night, we have an esteemed artist. We're talking about great artists. Bitter Roots, Sanford Green will be in the building with us on tomorrow night. It's going to be a dope interview. We're going to talk to him about Bitterroot and, of course, the working with, what was it like working with Jonathan Hickman? Speaking of dope writers, so Jonathan Hickman is as big as it gets. So we're going to talk with him. We'll talk shop. And yeah, man, get ready for the return of Bitterroot. It is going to be fire. Going to be fire for sure. Eisner winning Sanford Green. So yeah, love that man's writing. I mean, his art style is amazing. And so yeah, we're looking forward to that for sure. Says we'll catch that afterwards. Thanks. No doubt. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get a benediction. The benediction comes from the book of Jeremiah, the 29th chapter, verse number 11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you." This is the Lord's declaration. Plans for your well-being, not for disaster, but to give you a future and a hope. From the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich. And until next time, we say peace. We'll see you when we see you. And remember, tomorrow night, dope interview. Wednesday night, not sure we got a show or not. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But either way, in less than 7 days, we will be in Atlantic Comic-Con. We'll see you there. Take care. Peace. We out.